Hi, I'm hoping people can hear me, and I'm just looking for a way to either unmute everybody so we can hear each other. So now, can you all please go to the questions section in your panel and perhaps type a question. Just type "I'm here" so that we can see that people can at least correspond using the questions section. There must be a way to unmute people. Can you drop down the dashboard? Oh, here we go. Look, 3 questions, 4 questions. Great. Okay, good. So that's telling me that some people can hear me, and I'm going to keep going with confidence and ask you all until we can work out how to unmute you all. Then I'm going to ask you to use the question panel to stop me if there's something you need to know about. So I'm Jo. I'm hosting this. I've got a team of people from Vortx sitting around, and our objective today is to teach the world, the listening world out there, a little bit about what Google offers us that helps us sell things online. I'm going to particularly focus on 6 different tools that Google gives us. Google is often referred to within our industry as the bad lad, as the god out there that is trying to manage us all. And an awful lot of the talk about the black magic, the voodoo of search engine optimization is really not fair, is really unfounded. What Google is trying to do is to help us all succeed. There is just no question about it. Google is trying to endorse openness and honesty, is trying to promote, trying to encourage us all to put real, fresh, unique, valuable content out there on the web. And that applies to both the products that we're selling and the information that we're giving to help people know that they want to buy our products. In all cases, Google declares itself wherever it possibly can, wherever it makes sense. It tells us what we can do to try and please it. So it's like a parent telling us what the boundaries are, and if we will just look at the advice it gives us, then we can use the tools available to us to really help ourselves. And that's what today is all about. A few logistical items. I am not a big reader of slides, so spent a lot of the last few days putting some slides together, and quite often everything I want to say is typed up there for you, and that's when I get to rest a minute and drink a glass of water. So if I go silent, it's not because I'm bored or because I've walked out of the room. It's just because I'm allowing you to take a moment to read what I've written. There were one or two sections, 1 or 2 places, and I can't honestly remember how many I've planted in here, but there are 1 or 2 places where I'm asking you something rather than telling you something. And you'll see that those slides have usually got the word question at the top. It's just to remind me that I want some input from all of you. There are 42 slides here, and we've now got about 57 minutes left in which to get through them. So I will hasten through. If you need my attention, please use the questions panel. And be aware that at the end of this, Paula's contact, the very last slide, gives Paula's contact details. Paula works here at Vortx, and she will be contacting you all beyond this presentation to make sure that questions you had were answered. So there's another platform there for you to get heard, and also make sure that you understand our objectives and how we can help. Okay, all of that being said, I'm going to continue now through the slides. We will be distributing this slide set, so there's no need for you all to write frantically. All of these slides will be distributed. Okay. Okay, good. These are the 6 tools, the 6 Google tools that I'm particularly going to focus on today. The 3 on the left are all involved with driving traffic to your site. The 3 on the right are all more closely involved in how to make the most of that traffic to take more orders. This is the focus of our lives on the whole. We're all retailers. We're all trying to sell things. We all want to attract more attention and drive more traffic. I have a tendency, I am famous actually, for the fact that when I'm presenting information, I like to tell you what I'm going to tell you. I like to tell you when I'm telling it to you, and I like to tell you at the end that I told you. So here goes. What I'm going to do today is we're going to start off by talking about how we can learn lessons using Google tools, how those lessons can tell us where we're going wrong. We should not be remotely interested in tools that pat us on the head and tell us what good boys and girls we are, because we don't learn anything, we don't stretch, and we don't improve through that. So I'm going to be showing you how we can use specifically Google Webmaster Tools to find out all the places that we're going wrong, and then how and why we want to divide our website into a number of pages and decide which pages are of importance to us. A little tiny bit, this is not Search Engine Optimization 101 today, so a little tiny bit about how we can make our pages better. And then the body of the presentation will be on, once we've learned a little bit more about how we can drive more traffic, how we can really make the most of the traffic that arrives at our site. So we're going to be, Google Webmaster Tools always amazes me. It's one of the most valuable things that Google gives us. And last time I surveyed our fairly extensive client base, fewer than 2% of my clients were using Webmaster Tools. And I swear it's for 2 reasons. One is because the name is somewhat off-putting. It implies a level of expertise, a level of competence that most of us doubt in ourselves. Very few of us like to boast that we are master of anything. And so I think the name in itself is a little off-putting, and you shouldn't be off-put. These are really useful, valuable, and easy-to-use tools. Probably the most difficult thing about the Webmaster Tools is verifying to Google that you should be seeing what it wants to show you. Google quite rightly is protective of the information that it gathers about each and every website, and it forces you to prove who you are before it will show you information about your own site. And quite right too, because none of us want our competitors finding out what's wrong with our websites. So what Google asks you to do in order to use the Webmaster Tools is to put a piece of code, a unique long identity, into your, embed it actually into your core web code. You can either drop it as a file or you can embed it into your pages. And you've got to do that, and then you've got to tell Google that you've done that, and then within the day Google will give you a little checkbox and tell you, that's good, I now know that you are who you said you were, and so I will make the information available to you. And that is the toughest part of these tools. If you get stuck, Vortx are here to help. I'm going to try really hard not to sell us really hard during this. This is really about you and how you can use Google. But inevitably, on occasion, I will tell you about things we can do and things we want to do. And the penultimate slide is a quick précis, a quick summary of the different ways in which we want to be able to help. And this is one of them. We can drop the verification code in for you. It's really easy for us. We have access to our client sites. We can drop it in. It's very simple, and in our world, simple is usually very affordable. It's going to cost a tiny bit of money for us to do that for you, if indeed you need us to. And onwards. I'm going to focus particularly on 4 places in which I think Google Webmaster Tools is particularly useful. And the first one is keywords. This is the very reverse of what most of us do with keywords. most of us have a look at what we're selling. We determine what our keywords should be. We go to some trouble and we decide what keywords we want to tell the world are synonymous with our products. And then we go all out to make those keywords ours, to own them, to implant them in our website. This tool does it all the other way around. Google goes to your website and it decides what you are selling, and it does that by analyzing your title tags, your meta tags, your descriptions, your headers, your images. It looks at the words that it finds time and time again, and then it feeds them back to you. So it's telling you what keywords it thinks are synonymous with what you're selling. If there is a mismatch between what Google tells you and what you want to see there, then you're doing something poorly. This is what I say when I say we're looking for tools that tell us when we're wrong. If your keywords in Webmaster Tools don't match the keywords you want, then you've got some work to do. It's as simple as that. Same is true of top search queries. Google will show you, for each of your pages, it will show you the search queries that resulted in your page or pages being shown in amongst the top 20 on a Google search results. So these are all search queries for which one or more of your pages are proving successful. On the left-hand side, it also shows you how often people who see you when using this search query are clicking through to your site. If you're in position 1, 2, 3, if you're in the first 10 positions, and that's the right-hand column, if you're in the first 10 and you are not achieving anything like a 10% click-through rate, then you should be looking very hard at your title tag and your description. We'll see where you look at those in a moment. But what that would tell you is somebody's searching on a string of words. They are seeing your site, and whatever you are asking them to see doesn't match what they want. You need to have a look at that if there is a mismatch there. Similar thing with links to your site. Most of us know who we have encouraged, bribed, blackmailed, persuaded, paid to link to our websites. Most of us know which links we would expect Google to see. If there is a mismatch, if the links you expect are not the links that Google is acknowledging in this list, then it's because Google dislikes something about those other links. It's most frequently what's called the anchor tag, the words that are key to the link. And Google will be comparing that with the keywords I just showed you. If there is significant conflict, it breaks the link. It refuses to acknowledge it, and you're losing some power. So check your links on Webmaster Tools. And finally, Google Webmaster Tools does you a really big favor. It diagnoses problems. There are many ways in which it shows you the problems. The two I've chosen to show you here, and I'm showing off here. Crawl errors. Google will tell you last time a Google robot crawled your website. These are the things that it found that stopped it from crawling all the way through. I say I'm showing off because as of only 2 weeks ago, Google has, you may be able to see here, there are 3 tabs. There is web and there are 2 mobile tabs. We at Vortx are immensely proud of our new mobile shopping cart. We have our own, Vortx.com has a mobile cart as well as a web cart. And I'm showing off here because we have 0 errors. There are no mistakes in our code. We have written a really great mobile version. And what Google is showing me here is there are no errors. That's what you should be seeing on all of your tabs. If you don't yet have a mobile cart, then apart from getting one, you need to focus more on the web cart. And you will typically find that it's found broken links, it's found pages that are out of date, pages that haven't been refreshed for more than a certain period of time. All really valuable information. As well as crawl errors, it also shows you HTML suggestions. This is too small for you to see, but there are 2 blue linked items here, which tells me that for our site, everything I'm showing you here responds to Vortx.com. I've got 2 problems that I'll be going off to fix this afternoon. The 2 blue lines say that I've got duplicate meta descriptions. So I have at least 2 pages where I have told Google that the page describes something which exactly matches another page. And that's wrong. It shouldn't be the case, and I need to go off and find them and fix them. And by clicking on that link, it will show me which descriptions they are that are duplicated and which pages. The second one is similar. It's duplicate title tags. I've got at least 2 pages for which the title seems to be the same. And Google is telling me it doesn't sound very original or fresh or inspiring to us, so why don't you go off and change that? It's all useful for me. Okay. This is one of those silences where you can read the screen. And what it's telling us is that all of these webmaster tools are simply designed to help us make our pages more effective. More effective to whom? Well, to themselves, of course. They want their robots to be able to find and enjoy our pages. Specifically, we're trying to please the Google bots. The next picture is for the inner geek in all of us. This is a tiny snapshot of something that we have in our possession, printed by SEO Moz. This is the 2009 Web Developers SEO Cheat Sheet. And for those of us who like geeky stuff, it is absolutely invaluable. It's 2 condensed pages of everything you need to know about the things that really matter in SEO. And for those of you who would like to see it, we have permission to publish it. So call Paula, remember her contact details are on the last slide, and she will publish it for you. She'll let each of you have a copy of this. Some of you might hate it, but it's a useful thing to have, even if it's to give to your nephew's next door neighbor who enjoys this stuff. But the essence is we want the Google bots. Not everybody knows this, but there isn't a single robot. There aren't multiple cloned copies of the same robot. Google has different Google bots. There are robots that are going out there and crawling images. There are robots crawling text. There are robots crawling links. There are robots crawling mobile. They're all different. They've all got different names, and we can appeal to them if we want to. And it's really useful information for those of us who like really playing with our pages. We talk about web pages these days rather than websites because each page should have its own value. A lot of people, when I ask them, do you want all of your pages to be optimized, look at me aghast and say, of course, why would I have pages that I don't want to be optimized? But the fact is there are very good reasons why some pages should not be optimized. Typical reason is because you've got a new category of goods that you're selling, a whole new collection of products, and they arrive in your warehouse. You want to sell them. You throw up a product listing page and then a page for each of the products so that people can go in and buy. But you do not have time. None of us has time there and then to optimize those pages for the new keywords that are significant for your new product set. Until such time as you really have time to make those pages as valuable as the other pages on your site, you don't want your overall site ranking to be sacrificed because you haven't optimized certain new pages. And you might want to cloak those new pages. They're still available. Once people come to your site, they can still use and buy. But you're asking Google not to take any notice of them, not to publish and index those pages. Probably a more pertinent example is articles. We should all be thinking about having really great information on our product websites. If we find a really great article, it might be all over the web. It might have been syndicated. It might be on Wikipedia, for heaven's sake, but if it's really useful to our clients, we might want to copy it with permission and put it on our own website. If we do, remember what I said at the beginning, Google is not going to reward us for anything other than fresh, unique, valuable information. Google does not want to encourage us all to just have the same old stuff on our websites. But what Google loves is people who provide information that might not be unique, and when we are then conscious enough to show Google, this is a page, I'm putting it up for a reason, and I don't want to pretend that it's mine. Google punishes us if we pretend that it's ours, and rewards us if we're smart enough to say, no, I want to declare that this page should not be indexed. One of the questions you should be asking is how long it would take you to work out which of your own pages are actually worthy of being indexed, and which ones for now you might not want to index because they're not optimized, because you don't want them to be published. And the way to do that is always to go back to a sitemap. Most people on this call are users of the ASP.NET Storefront shopping cart. And that particular shopping cart automatically generates two things. It generates an HTML sitemap, which is the one that your visitors can go and have a look at and link from. And it generates an XML sitemap, which is the one that Google reads. So the robots read the XML one, the humans read the HTML version. And those two need not equate to each other. You can have an HTML map that points at those pages we've been talking about, which are valuable, but which you don't feel should be indexed. Your HTML sitemap will still point at those. You want to remove those pages from your XML sitemap. And here's another of those places where Vortx can help. We work on our client sitemaps all the time, and if you need consultancy or actual coding, then we can do that for you. Google will, every time it comes to your site, it will always go and have a look. It starts off by looking for a file called sitemap.xml with a capital S. If it doesn't find it, then it'll go to Google Webmaster Tools and see what else you might have called it. Here's the screenshot from the Vortx.com Webmaster Tools. This is where we can list our sitemaps, identify what they're called. We've got a neat little checkbox to say that, yep, recently Google went and it found it and it liked it. And here it tells me that it was downloaded by Google on Saturday. If today I'd made a change to my sitemap, all I'd have to do is click resubmit, and Google will immediately send a robot off to crawl it for me and to find out which pages I have newly added or removed. So we've talked briefly about hiding pages. Two ways to hide pages. One of them, which is a real geeky way, is using the robots.txt file. And I'm not going to dwell on that today. I'm just going to show you how every page has got a header area in the code behind the rendered page. And one of the many things you can do in your header is this line here. Meta name is robots. I want to declare to the robots that the content of this page should not be indexed and should not be followed. Just for the geeks among us, it's just a little bit of code sample for us. Okay, so remember I like to tell you what I was going to tell you and tell you when I've told you. And really that's the end of this particular tool. That's everything I want you to know about Google Webmaster Tools. I could now go on and talk at length about how to optimize any one particular page, and I'm not going to. This really isn't the forum for that. I only want to focus on one piece of search engine optimization because to my mind it is the most important thing you can do, and it's all about page titles. Every page on your website has a title, and the title looks a bit like this. Remember how just a couple of slides ago we saw that every page has a header in the code, and within that header you can bury a title. ASP.NET Storefront makes it even easier for you. You don't have to go into the code on any product. You can go and identify the title of the page on which this product is featured. Be aware, Google specifies an absolute top limit of 70 characters. Yahoo allows you to have over 120 characters. MSN allows you to have as many characters as you like. Ask.com has fewer than 70. I believe it's 65, but this is a Google day, so what I'm telling you is if you want to please Google, have no more than 70 characters in your title tag. There are constant debates about what your about the shape that your title tag should take, But on the whole, industry standard right now says put your keywords at the beginning, followed by an arrow if you want it, and then your category. So thinking particularly of a product detail page, you would want to have the keywords about that product, followed perhaps by the category name, and then if you want to, if it's valuable enough, put the website title or your company name or your brand identity at the very end. This is, of course, hugely subjective. If you were Nike, you'd probably feel very comfortable about having Nike right at the beginning of your title tag, because people are going to want to go there. Equally, if you're Sally's Shoe Shop and you only sell Nike products, you probably still want to put your brand identity at the beginning rather than at the end, because you want people to immediately fall upon the title and want to go there. But if you're Sally's Shoe Shop and you sell generic running shoes, you almost certainly don't want to put Sally's Shoe Shop at the beginning of your title tag, because it isn't going to lure people to your site. It's far smarter to put running shoes, sports shoes, footwear at the beginning, and if you want to put Sally's at all, then put it at the very end. As an example, when people come to the Google search page and search on Vortx, then thank goodness, Vortx comes as number 1. Our home page is the first of many entries for Vortx. All of that is what we want to happen. And this string of characters here is our title tag for our home page. I saw with relief when I checked it last night, 64 characters, so we're doing just fine against the 70 characters that we want to make as our maximum. And you can see how we've put the words that we really want to convey close to the beginning, with our company name at the very end. Some other pages that you can see of ours here, and they have different title tags. Each one tries to explain exactly what that page is about. And I hope that you can see that a browser on the web, seeing these entries, uses the title tag very strongly to decide which of the pages to then drill down and visit. When they do drill down and visit our home page, again they see exactly the same information. This title tag is what you can see in the blue bar right at the very top. So 2 places that your title tag is rendered. One is on the Google results page, and the other is in the blue bar at the very top of your web presence. Give enormous concentration to those title tags. This slide is in the wrong place, and I'm going to completely ignore it. Forgive it. I buried it in here and had expected to either move it or take it out. So we'll move hastily on. This is where we're at right now. We've talked about defining our pages, learning about the errors in our pages, cloaking content, labeling pages, and all of that is the sort of work we do in our role as webmaster. The rest of this presentation is all about us in our role as retailer rather than as webmaster. So most of the geeky stuff that I wanted to talk about is way behind us now. Oh, here we go. Got a question. So use the question panel. Somebody tell me what this is. What's the picture? The picture is demonstrating something that is particularly pertinent to today. Anybody got any guesses as to what this picture shows us? Come on, somebody be brave. I'm going to count to 10, and if nobody's brave enough to guess what this is, then I'll tell you anyway. Anybody in this room know? This is the original Google office. This is where Google started. This is the 2 guys who started Google and where they started it. And believe it or not, they stayed in this for 18 months. So that's what that is. And you've stolen my... Okay, so as retailers, what else does Google do to help us to sell more? Okay, Google Local. This is really exciting, and I urge every one of you to listen and think about this, because I think that Google is giving us some very clear direction with Local. We pride ourselves on being industry watchers here at Vortx, and I will tell you what I think I'm seeing. I think that there is a very firm connection between Google's very recent local press on Google Local and the fact that 2 weeks ago today, Google paid $750 million for the world's leading mobile advertising company. Those two things are connected in the following way. I think we will all see in the next, certainly in the next year, we will see Google pushing us really hard to have a local presence of some kind. It needn't be our own bricks and mortar store. It can be affiliates, it can be depots, it can be distribution centers. But I think Google is trying to drive us to become more conscious of the fact that right now, most of us have got a single online presence that is distributing from a single center in this enormous continent. We are driving backwards and forwards across the state, and I think we will see Google rewarding us for being more conscious. The two things are closely connected, because Google has already come out and declared the fact that it wants people to be shopping using their mobile phones. It wants people to be able to buy through a smartphone and then get some recognition of where locally they can perhaps collect their goods. So Google is really beginning to reward people for having a local connection, for registering themselves through the Google Local Business Center. If you've got a physical presence of any kind, then take notice of this. I'm just going to show you very briefly a 1.5-minute video of Google Local. You'll see that it focuses very hard on services, but everything you'll see is also just as pertinent to those of us who are selling products. So let's hope I can get where I want to go. Okay, good.